UFC Abu Dhabi is around the corner, and we finally got ourselves a good fight night card in the desert. The Abu Dhabi bankroll came in clutch and pays homage to the OG fight nights where we had stacked cards and stuff. No more Jandaroba, Lemos, or fucking Dumont Lad fight nights in the Apex. Nah, we got ourselves Tony Ferguson on a fight night. He's only been on pay-per-views for who knows how long, and they dragged him to a fight night. Same with Shamil. Hey, they even got Jai Herbert on there, man. He was supposed to be on last weekend's card. They got Jai Herbert in the Middle East. Now, we got ourselves a good main event in Umar versus Cory. But the prediction's going to be pretty simple. We lock in that Umar Nurmagomedov pick for a 49-46 decision. Just pressure. We just saw this with Bilal Muhammad against a tall, rangy striker. He's going to put the pressure on him. And Cory Sandhagen, we praise Cory Sandhagen's striking and boxing. And he has been with Trevor Whitman this camp and sharpening his boxing. But I don't think that should be his primary worry at all. And he should have been at another camp preparing for Umar Nurmagomedov. But, his striking, in recent memory, Cory Sandhagen's mainly been, getting these highlight reel knockouts with, flying knees and spinning wheel kicks. And I don't think that's going to happen against a guy who's as aware as Umar Nurmagomedov. He's going to put pressure on him. Even if Cory Sandhagen comes forward, Umar's got a wicked overhand that he can catch Cory with and put him down and control him on from there. And yeah, when he's pressuring him on the cage and whatnot, shooting in takedowns, taking the back, he jumps on people's back constantly. I know they haven't been the best competition Brian Kelleher and Sergey Morozov and stuff, but still, he pounces on the back immediately and gets a sub. I don't think he's going to sub Cory like Aljo did. I think he's going to control it out, just like Bilal did to Leon Edwards. And, if you want to defend Cory and say, oh, well, he's been grappling against Rob Font and Chito Vera and even against Song Yadong, he shot in a takedown and stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you to look back at this last weekend's pay-per-view card, Oban Elliott versus Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons is known for, he's a great offensive wrestler, but Oban Elliott proved that, defensively a guy can be flawed, and we've been seeing, a bunch of these offensive wrestlers, find holes in the game recently. And, you could say the same thing about Umar, but I'd just be surprised if it happened. It's very unlikely. So Cory's offensive wrestling, I guess, isn't going to help him in this fight whatsoever, and he's still going to be honed in on that weakness. Not a weakness, but to Umar's advantage. Cory Sandhagen's, I guess, not as good as his defensive wrestling. So, yeah, obvious reasons, we're going to go with Umar. Yeah, that's it. Maybe 1 in 100. Cory lands a flying knee on a takedown. Other than that, I see no other outcome in this fight other than a decision of Umar proving himself in the bantamweight division. Now, co-main event, Shara Magomedov versus Michal Oleksiejczuk. Another lock of the card, pretty simple to say. Michal likes running into shit, and Shara Magomedov is great on the back foot. I'm predicting Michal will fall into one of Shara's right hands and potentially get wobbled and standing TKO'd and stuff, but even if not, Shara can comfortably take this to a decision. Michal is not known for his takedowns. Even this Tricoli guy who fought him last and got TKO'd, he has better grappling than Michal Oleksiejczuk, in my opinion, and Shara was able to defend those takedowns with cheating, but hey, cheaters equal winners. How many times do we got to see it and say it? Shara Magomedov, easy pick on the card. Now, Vera versus Figueiredo. I know it looks weird that I've been picking Marlon Vera every fight throughout the entirety of my picking career, but Marlon Vera's going to get the job done. Figgy's just too small and he fights too reserved. He fights at the perfect pace for Marlon Vera. And yeah, like and he wanted to say like, oh, he had fun fights with Brandon Moreno. Look back at the fights. Look back at the fights. Other than the first one, like their trilogy, which got fight of the night and stuff. First of all, that 270 card like didn't have any good fights other than that co-main event, so they gave it to it anyway. But it was such a reserved fight outside the knockdowns for Figueiredo, and like since Brandon won and the Joey 1 and 2 fights, the guy hasn't been putting too much pressure on his opponents recently, and yeah, he kept a steady pace with Font. With Garbrandt, he was on the feet at a steady pace until the grappling exchanges and stuff. Even there, he was steady too. And yeah, I think Marlon Vera is just going to keep this guy at range and use his straights and stuff to not allow Figueiredo to come in with his like overhands and pinning straights and whatnot. And the only like thing that goes against my pick is just Figueiredo trying to take this fight to the ground and control him like Cory Sandhagen did. That's it. I'm going to go with Marlon Vera, and I think he'll get it done in a close 29-28 decision. I know Figgy's going to shoot in some takedowns and stuff, but I'd say the closeness of this decision is going to be similar to the Pedro Munoz fight for Marlon Vera. So we'll go with that. Now, Ferguson versus Chiesa, lock of the card, the lock of all locks on this card is Michael Chiesa. He's going to decision this guy out. You only need a strong power puncher or a puncher at all to beat Michael Chiesa. He's a good grappler. He survived Sean Brady. I know he's been subbed and stuff, but still, he is a capable grappler. He only gives up a Darce, and people say, oh, Tony has a Darce. Like, come on, he hasn't latched up or been close to a sub in like recent memory. He's been close to getting subbed, and he has been subbed by Bobby Green. Dariush had the heel hook, Oliveira the armbar, and Nate Diaz the guillotine. And like, yeah, he's just gonna ride this out. It's gonna be a boring Chiesa fight, and then, in my opinion, I think he's gonna call out Jake Paul on the mic. Yeah, I think those fit like the Tony Ferguson odds of me saying, oh, he's gonna call out Jake Paul, because I just remember him on Twitter being like adamant that, oh fuck, Jake Paul's gonna get fucked up by Alex Pereira, and I think he's gonna call out Jake Paul. And yeah, it's just such a Michael Chiesa thing to do. He wants his commentary job. He's going to get a decision. And even if he's close to a sub, I think he's going to carry Tony Ferguson to a decision. Now, Dern versus Godinez. I'm going to go with not Godinez, sorry. Dern as a lock. I was so fucking surprised seeing the odds at first. Like, Godinez was a heavy favorite. Like a near -200 favorite. Absolute idiots at the bookies. But we're going to go with Mackenzie Dern. Just like good offensive grappling. Like, we make fun of her for her striking. She got outstruck by Lemos and fucking Andrade. They're like the top of the women's they're at the top of the women's divisions, and like she hung in there with Angela Hill way better than Godinez did. And like Godinez, same concept as I used for the Cory Umar fight. Like, offensive grappling doesn't mean you're gonna instantly have defensive grappling. Like, Luana Carolina handled her there as well in that realm. I know that was a while ago and she survived that shit, but like still, take that into mind as well. Plus, she's had a bunch of close fights, like leading up to her Jandiroba performance where she got controlled, and Mackenzie Dern passes people and does control them when she like gets there and stuff. Not the best wrestling, but good control. And like she's taken like Cynthia Calvillo to a split decision in recent memory. She took someone else to a split. Tabitha Ritchie, right? She took Tabitha Ritchie in a close ass fight. And Mackenzie Dern, again, we make fun of her for her striking, but she is landing. She was landing on Amanda Lemos, not like wobbling her around the place and stuff. But still, I think she's gonna hang in there on the feet. And then eventually, after failing a bunch, she's going to get one of her takedowns, control her, and like get a rear naked choke or an armbar or something. Something like that. Like, Godinez and Hill are the same size. Angela Hill, that is. And I think Godinez is going to be willing to give up that armbar to a guy like Dern in that position. So we're going to go with Dern, third round sub, but if she doesn't, I think she'll get the decision as well. Now, Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brener. I'm going to go with Elvis Brener. People, like, he lost the oral by, that's it. And he's had really good competition in the UFC and shit, but that doesn't, it matters, but we'll put that past that because we want to actually analyze the fight and stuff. Like, he's really good at reversing positions and finding positions. He can grapple. He's a capable grappler, and he puts like damage onto people when he gets dominant positions over them. And one example of that was against Orabai in the second round. I swear, if there were 30 more seconds at the end of round 2, we would have seen Elvis Brener win via TKO because some of those ground and pound shots were landing clean. And Joel Alvarez, he's susceptible to the ground game. Had the loss against Demir, and also even had the loss to Arman Tsarukyan. Ground and pounded him out. Absolutely, like, dominantly and viciously. The cut was nasty as fuck on Alvarez from Tsarukyan. And still, like, Elvis Brener, capable striker, could like survive against Alvarez, but I think he's gonna jump into one of those takedowns, put the guy down, and start hammering away after passing on the big limbs of Joel Alvarez to get the TKO. Now, Azamat Murzakanov versus Alonzo Menifield. I just don't trust the Menifield game plans. That goes for every fight. It's such a sketchy, like, imagine being his coach. It makes no sense. 1 minute, he is reserved, staying at range, losing to William Knight and even getting dropped by him. I think that was him, yeah, because they look exactly the same. Or he could be one of those guys who just runs into Carlos Alberg. Literally runs into Carlos Alberg. Just like Azamat Murzakanov isn't the best striker. He is, but he's not. At the same time, I just think he's going to survive the first 2 rounds. Maybe even Menifield wins them. And then eventually he'll slow down. Menifield, that is. And Azamat, small dude, but has some power, some weirdly good power in his hands. And he'll put this guy down and TKO him in round 3. Yeah. It's just going to be a weird fight. Menifield's going to be doing his shit and then get caught eventually. That's how I see this fight playing out. So, yeah. Now, Muhammad Yahya versus Cal Fernandez. Cal Fernandez is the guy known for taking Mark Chiesa to a split decision in his debut. I believe it was his debut. And look good enough for, I guess, the top 50, top 60 kind of tier of the UFC lightweights. Muhammad Yahya, just like flimsy striking, fucking wilding hooks, just doesn't know how to fight damagingly, really. And Cal Fernandez, good kicks, good submissions. He has a couple arm bars there. Can shoot some takedowns. Taking Chiesa down, recently has, been not that successful. He's taken him down. He took Chiesa down. Had a bit of a kind of boring Chiesa style scramble fest with him, but still did good enough. And yeah, I think he'll get the sub. And the reason I'm not making this a lock, though, is I just think Muhammad Yahya has like a weird chance of surviving everything and yanking this out to a decision if this guy potentially stays on the back foot, which he shouldn't. He's like a pressuring guy for the most part, but I just got a weird feeling Muhammad Yahya is going to get the decision and maybe have looked improved. So we're not making it a lock, but we are going with Cal Fernandez. Now, not Cow, whatever. Shamil the Meal Deal Gaziev versus Dontel Mays, the man with the Gucci and Louis Vuitton tattoos. Now, Shamil, the Meal Deal, come on. You can't be fucking around with Shamil Gaziev, the proud son of Shamil Abdurakhimov, the original Shamil, literally the same guys. So, yeah, we're going to go with Shamil. decision. What breakdown do you want? These are some heavyweights that like striking at range and keeping it competitive and whatnot. They can both clinch each other. They can both strike with each other. They're not going to put each other down. I know Downtel cracked Arlovsky recently, but like, come on, that ain't going to do it. Shamil couldn't put down fucking Marcin Budaj, had to standing TKO him. That couldn't do it. So it's going to be one of those decisions, one of those make Parkin style decisions. The meal deal's going to get it done. 29-28, going to lose the third round. Cardio reasons. But we're going to go with Shamil. We're going to go with Shamil to get the decision. Now, Guram Kutateladze versus Jordan Vucenic. Vucenic coming up from featherweight on short notice. This fight is giving me, Felipe, the Jungle Boy, and Muhammad Naimov vibes. This is giving me the same type of vibes because, I know Guram's not like a wrestler like Naimov in that fight, but he does wear out in the third round. He doesn't even get tired. He just gets sloppy. Against Damir Ismagulov, against Gamrot, I believe, as well. And against Alvarez Brener, got TKO'd and stuff. And Vucenic keeps a consistent pace, and he has been showing a great side to his grappling game recently. All types of submissions in his 4-fight submission win streak. And I just think he's going to survive out Guram's patient style of striking. He's going to be bouncy at range, and eventually he's going to look for those takedowns and stuff. And whilst Guram is good at keeping it at range and stuffing some of those takedowns, I think Vucenic is one of those guys who will chase down the grappling much better than some of his other opponents. I know Gamrot did. Gamrot chased the takedowns and he got them. He got 6 of them. Not much control, but still good enough. So yeah, we're going to go with Vucenic. Guys, we're just going to root for Vucenic. Jungle Boy versus the Hillman. I think that was Naimov's nickname. So yeah, now Victoria Dudakova versus Sam Hughes. One of Cory Sandhagen enjoys memes. Always stick around with Victoria Dudakova. If you know what it is. We're going to go with Sam Hughes to get the decision. She's been fighting a lot of the prospects. She's been fighting a bunch of the prospects. Not the biggest prospects, but still good competition and taking them to good decisions and stuff. I know she got pieced apart on the feet by Yasmin Jauregui, but she's a decent enough striker. She had a Michael Johnson kind of moment and getting clipped out by Denise Gomes. And yeah, but no, she's a good striker at range and stuff, and she did defend Sam Hughes' takedowns and stuff, but Victoria Dudakova is more allowing to the grappling, and she did have a very close fight with Jin Yu Fry. And I don't like the look of that whatsoever. And Sam Hughes, even though her record's deceiving, she has only lost to, I guess, decent enough competition. And she likes to push a nice pace on her opponents. So for those reasons, we're going to go with Sam Hughes surviving the first round from nothing. She's just going to survive the first round and push a pace in the next 2 rounds. So yeah, Sam Hughes decision. Now, the Black Country banger. Jai Herbert should have been on the UK card. It would have been an absolute delight for all those UK fans at 5 a.m. to watch. An absolute menace in Jai Herbert at 5 a.m. So yeah, and he's fighting Rolando Bedoya. I just don't think he's going to get it done. He's going to get 30-27 decisioned. Bedoya is a good striker. I know he had a rough time with, Oh my God. He had a rough time with Sandhagen. He had a rough time with, a more compact power puncher in Sandhagen. But, his style gives way to that because he's a longer, rangier guy on the feet. And he had success against Chaos Williams, who's a power puncher at long range. He doesn't have the most compact, boxing style. That's why he had so much success with him and stuff there. But Sandhagen is a very compact fighter who has his own weaknesses that couldn't be capitalized on by a striker such as Rolando Bedoya, who prioritizes his game plans on range. And like Jai Herbert succeeds against smaller guys, has moments against smaller guys like Ludovic Klein. I know he's very compact and stuff, but still way smaller. Kyle Nelson, which that win has surprisingly aged well, and Ilya Topuria. But like against those bigger guys, those taller guys like Fares Ziam and Renato Moicano, bigger guy, they can like handle him. And I think Rolando Bedoya, moving down from welterweight to lightweight, the bigger guy, he's going to have the more power advantage in this fight. He's going to capitalize on Herbert's weakness against rangier dudes. And he's going to get a decision win and introduce himself at lightweight. So, yeah, we're going to do that now. Cedriquis Dumas versus Denis Tiuliulin. 10-9-1 no contest. Denis Tiuliulin, his only win in the UFC against the GOAT, and Jamie Pickett, known for getting groin shotted and taken down and subbed by Bo Nichols. Sorry, getting on a tangent here. We're locking in this dude. He can grapple, he can strike enough, at least enough to beat Tiuliulin. And I think my guy, Cedriquis Dumas, is finally gonna get himself a UFC finish. It's bound to, alright? He's grappled the bottom tier competition, like Cody Brundage, the only guy to actually properly fucking beat Cody Brundage other than Bo Nickel, and the rest of them, like, what, my guy Mamba Malkoun can't take care of him? Has to illegally foul him? Same with Razak Al Hassan. No. Cedriquis Dumas, the striker, out-grappled Cody Durden and put him on his back and stuff. And what is it? Yeah, he can hang in there. He has some nice finishes. He jumps like he on his Contender Series thing. He hurt the guy and then jumped on a guillotine, standing guillotine, and put him out. Like, you cannot not finish Denis Tiuliulin. You can easily get a finish out of him. And I think he'll have a first-round finish. The Hood Wolf himself, as it says on his stomach, tatted on his stomach. He's going to jump on a finish and just ride it out. If he doesn't get that finish early on, I think he rides it out to a third round finish or like any kind of finish. There's no way this goes to a decision. Denis Tiuliulin is very susceptible to getting finished and shit. So yeah, those were my picks. Cedriquis is a lock, and yeah, let's leave it on this picture. A collab of a century between Shara and Cedriquis. What a legendary picture. One of the greatest photos in human history. Those were the picks.